Happy Sunday, everybody. I am Dr. Marketa Houskova, and I am the Executive Director of American Nurses Association California, and we are located in Sacramento, across from the state capitol in Sacramento downtown. Now, on this glorious Sunday, it is my absolute privilege and honor to induct you and welcome you into the Sigma Theta Tau International Honor Society in Nursing. Now, the privilege is the sweeter that when I was inducted, I did not even realize what a magnificent world of opportunities Sigma would offer to me. Now, not only my nursing professors and nursing mentors and nursing faculty leaders, not only they were all members of this marvelous organization, I still keep looking to them for their leadership and their career advice, and I look to their mentorship to help me navigate my career and to help me grow as a nurse, grow as a professional, and grow as a nurse. Now, Sigma Theta Tau is a fantastic organization that, as you know, was established in 1922 by 6 nurses in Indiana, a training program of nurses. And the fact that today I am welcoming you and inducting you into a group of magnificent nurse leaders of 135,000 members globally in more than 100 countries around the world. It just tells you the power, the privilege, and the enormous opportunity to serve others and serve the profession of nursing that this organization offers you. Now, nothing better can be said then about nursing than latest Gallup poll in December 2019, where nurses and nursing was ranked as the most ethical and honest profession for the 18th consecutive year. You are joining a fabulous group of professionals, fabulous group of colleagues, leaders, mentors, in terms of almost 500,000 registered nurses in California alone and almost 4 million registered nurses in the United States. You're joining this organization on the end of Nurses Week and still in the middle of Nurses Month, and also during the 2020 celebration of Year of the Nurse and a Midwife that the World Health Organization declared also in November or December 2019. Now, I understand nobody really thought that 2020 would look like this for nursing. We were supposed to have celebrations and parties and induction ceremonies and pinning ceremonies and graduation. However, COVID-19 brought a little bit different reality for us. But that's nothing for nursing. It's nothing like that, because we are dynamic, we are educated, we are driven, we are determined. We serve with honor, we serve with love, and we serve with courage. And those are the 3 founding themes of Sigma International Nursing Society. It's love, courage, and it's honor. Now, what else can you say about nursing during 2020? Just look around you, look around yourself, look the fantastic future colleagues and current colleagues that you're joining this organization with. You will never forget the year 2020, because we've seen how vital and fundamental nurses and nursing are in policy, in politics, in decision making, in emergency planning, in disaster implementation, how fundamental nurses are in media, how fundamental nurses are in advocacy, what a strong voices we have and we continue to have and we must have in order to continue to push this profession with going with times, and also making sure that we look after the interest of professional nursing in the United States and globally. Now, we all seen what COVID-19 did. We've all seen what our colleagues on front lines are dealing with. We've all seen what our colleagues and what was called upon our profession from key decision makers and elected officials. Now, nurses listened to the call of action. We stood up, we united, and we went to work. Now, the privilege of inducting you into this magnificent organization is the enormous power, it's the responsibility, it's the gratitude, and it's the service that you can give not only to the health and well-being of all Californians, but also to the profession of nursing. Now, we all know how important nursing voices are in media. We all know how important nursing voices are in policy development or policy change. And we also understand how crucial nursing voices are in politics and political process. Now, in today's very specific COVID-19 times, the fact that we are left with new regulation during a state of emergency, regulation that is being developed by Department of Consumer Affairs. The fact that we now are left with Board of Registered Nursing that is looking at various ways how to help nursing students to actually complete their semester, advance their academic progression, and or to graduate. The fact that we were looking to Governor Newsom to show us a way how to take care of our communities, how to take care of our loved ones, and how to be best prepared in ways of looking after our community, looking after ourselves, and looking after our loved ones. Just in these three aspects, I showed you Governor Newsom, which is California politics. I showed you Department of Consumer Affairs, which is regulation, and I showed you Board of Registered Nursing, which is kind of regulation / legislation, because then whatever the governor signs as a law, then it becomes the law that dictates what you can and cannot do at the bedside. So during this one crisis, during this one pandemic, the fundamental role of you is absolutely undisputed. Now, we don't have enough nurses in policy and in politics. We don't have enough nurses in US Congress. We have what, 3, 4 maybe? How many nurses do we have in California State Capitol? None. Now, how many nurses do we have actually at the key decision-making positions in the state of California government? Very, very few. And so if we don't advocate for ourselves, and if we don't bring our voices, and if we don't bring our expertise to the decision-making table, to the discussion table, and to the implementation table, how is it that then we expect to provide the best care? How is it that we are expected then to provide care with the best patient outcomes? And how is it that we can advise those that makes the decisions on what works best for nurses and nursing? And that is why the mission and vision of American Nurses Association California is to be advancing the health and well-being of all Californians and the profession of nursing. Now, our focus here in Sacramento and throughout California is to be focused on policy, regulation, and legislation. Now, we did have several opportunities to change policy or update policy, change policy during COVID-19 as we were preparing for a pandemic response, which thankfully never happened, but we were called to serve in a policy arena, and we were working very close with several of our colleagues and other organizations. And just because we were unable to really utilize all the health corps retired nurses or nurses who no longer serve at the bedside, such as me, it's just because we were not able to utilize nursing students to be helping out in alternate care sites or bringing them to hospital, working without necessarily supervision, but working within their scope of completed education at that time. Just because we didn't do that, that's actually a good thing. It showed us that we have the ability to make policy change. It showed us we have the expertise to advise elected officials and decision makers. It shows us that when we are called upon, we stand up and we serve. And if there is one thing that so far, first 5 months of 2020 left me with, is the enormous pride I have into being a nurse, into calling nursing my profession, and into being in a position of leading a professional nursing organization. I knew I wanted to be a nurse when I was in first grade, or maybe first or second grade, when back then in Czechoslovakia, when our teacher asked us, so just, draw a picture of what you want to do when you grow up. And I drew this very, very, very bad stick figure. I don't even know if it was a figure, but this very, very bad stick figure. And this very bad stick figure was holding a tiny little stick figure. And the bigger stick figure had a little red cross on her bonnet. And that little tiny stick figure was supposed to be a pediatric patient, but nobody could see that. But the reason I'm telling you this is that I never wavered from my dream. And the fact that I grew up under the communistic regime in Czechoslovakia, and I went through Velvet Revolution, and I went through England and Canada and United States, and I was au pair, and I was nanny, and I was a housekeeper, and I was a home healthcare nurse. And then I got to California, and I was privileged enough to start working in critical care unit because that was my specialty from Czech Republic. And then I went back to school and I got degrees in politics, I got degree in sociology, I got master's degree in international global public health administration and in regional political development, and I completed my doctoral degree in executive leadership from University of San Francisco in California. All that is thanks to nursing. All that is thanks to my dream. All that goes back to when I was in first or second grade and when I decided I wanted to be a nurse. And every time I was asked, why do you want to be a nurse? It's a really hard profession. And I said, because I can help people, because I am quick on my feet and I am fast learner and I can help people. And also I can speak up for those who cannot speak up for themselves. And that's, I think for me, that's the crux and that's the beauty and that's the art of advocacy. And that's why I feel so strongly that nurses are advocates first and foremost, because if you're not advocating for yourself or your colleague or your profession, you're advocating for your patient, you're advocating for the best care, you're advocating for most optimate course of treatment, you're advocating for nutrition, you're advocating for social services, you're advocating for transfer, you're advocating to have more family spend time with their patient. Then you're advocating when you are transferring or discharging patients, you're again doing advocacy. You're trying to find them placement. You're trying to make sure that their care is coordinated, that you're working hard to advocate on behalf of your patients to make sure that they have a place in a community, place in a society, and they are living their best life. All that is about advocacy. Yet we do it absolutely innately, not even knowing that it's called advocacy. And I think that's the most beautiful part about it. So every time I am very lucky and I'm invited to give induction ceremonies or keynote speeches, I always say we need to be involved more in policy, politics, media, and advocacy. And I hear back, oh, but Marketa, that's your job. You're in Sacramento, but we're here at the bedside. And then when we start talking about it, that's where we realize that what you do every day, in and out, every day, that is advocacy. You're carrying out the fundamental core principles of Sigma: love, courage, and honor. And again, I could not be any more prouder than I am right now to be welcoming you and inducting you into Sigma Theta Tau International Honor Society in Nursing. I wish you all the best in your continuing nursing career. I wish you all the best on your professional development, with your career, with your mentorship. Don't be afraid to ask people for help. Don't be afraid to ask people to mentor you, to give you advice. That was one of the biggest issues for me when I came from Czech Republic, that I did not know that people wanted to help me. So, I thought that everything had to be done by myself because only that's how I will be worthy enough to have a position like this, to have a doctoral degree and to have a good job. That's not true. That's what I've learned within my first 5 years in the United States. People want to help you. And if people feel that you're authentic, you are leading authentically, you're leading with heart, courage, and honor, there are always plenty of nurses and non-nurses. They would be more than happy and privileged to mentor you, to guide you, and help you to reach all your goals and honor your dreams. And with that, happy induction, happy Sunday, welcome, and thank you very much.